deals a year times 5 deals. Because I got a recording in progress earlier. Thank you. It's probably, I'm sure it's me. Yeah. All right. The bottom line is, if that is that a simple enough recipe? So they say, you know what, I don't want to be that successful, Dean. And that's okay, because everybody has, you pace yourselves to what you want and say, I just want to make 100 grand, which means I get to spend about 50, or let's say I can spend 60. So that's about 5 grand a month. And I think we could be comfortable on that. Okay. I'm all right with that, because it has to be your goal. It has to be yours. It's not me. Your big goals, your big whys, they have to do with you. All right. So I'm going to keep moving, and he did make it bigger. So be ready, take action. There we go. Let me ask you just a really quick question. In belief system in here, are there any things in here that give you pause, or you say, yeah, that's really not me? I'm going to let you know that I struggle with one of them. And it's my biases and probably my interpretation. It's the newest one. It's equity, opportunities for all. I think it's politically correct. That's just one dumb guy out there. I believe equality, opportunities for all. We all have an equal opportunity to be wildly successful, or we can all, crash and burn. But I hope that if you crash and burn, I had to start my video again. Oh. Did it come all the way over? Keep coming, keep coming. Nope. Let me fix this really fast. And thank you guys for watching the screen, because I just glance at it now and then. So let me see myself. Rich, you're just not going to be able to see me because the video started, but I can't get the camera to move now. So, okay. And so please warn me, guys, if I mess up on this, and I'm going to shrink that down and pull it out of the way. You go away. Okay. But what I want you to know is that each of you have an opportunity to be wildly successful in this business. Who'd have thought that some people have asked me, Dean, what's your ethnicity? And I say, yes. My great-grandfather's from Korea. My great-grandma's Hawaiian. My grandma's Hawaiian Korean. She married a Filipino. So my mama's Hawaiian, Filipino, Korean. My father's English, Welsh. I'm a mess. But I want you to know that even someone as dumb as I am can make it in this business and have great success. And so what I want you to know is, whatever limitations you think you might have, understand, again, mindset stuff, you can overcome a ton. But what I really wanted to share with this slide is, if these things make you uncomfortable, you might not be with the right company, because we really strive to live these. We want to give everyone an opportunity to be successful in this business. So I know we ask you to do hard things. And for some people, it's really hard to contact people or to talk to people that are friends of yours and let them know that you're a pushy realtor and that you want to help people buy, sell, or get rich by investing in real estate. And so you might hear that once or twice today. But we're not in the business. This is the hard part. As your broker, you are not in the business to sell real estate. You're in the business to make sure your paperwork is perfect. You're purveyors of paperwork, because you help people get into that house or sell that house, or it could be a commercial business as well. But the bottom line is, you're going to be wildly successful if you choose to be. And it's really hard, because it's all on you and it's on us. Okay, so go away on this. Let's move on to the next one. And I have to click on you. Okay. In your books, you should have your value propositions. So what they're asking you to do is to revisit your value proposition and ask, does it truly reflect who you are, the value you bring to the table? Now, who did not go through the first couple of sessions of Ignite? Are there any that missed that? Okay, that's going to be in there. So when we do Ignite again, we relaunch it again, go through that. But there's maybe just some quick questions you'd want to ask yourself. What is it? Why are you in the business? What value do you bring to the table? Why should I work with Rhea? Why should I work with you? If I don't know comes to mind, we need to work on that. Does that make sense? And so I'm going to give you one really briefly. This is mine. Why work with Dean? It's generic enough that it works for anyone. Are you ready? So if you want to write down my value proposition, it's a little long, but it's not super long. Because again, the hardest part for me today is talking for an hour plus. And so anyway, somebody want to share their value proposition first? Who has theirs in your head? Anybody want to share theirs? Yeah, everybody's raising their hands for you on Zoom. Okay, I'm going to share mine really quickly. I do real estate differently than anyone else. That's the first part of it. I do real estate differently than anyone else. And what that means to you is that, one, your home will sell, and two, you'll get more money in your pocket than by selling any other way, whether that's with another agent or by owner. And I know that's a big promise, but if you knew it were true, would you even want to hear about it? That's my value proposition, that I do real estate different. Now, remind me of your first name. Tayson? Kaysen. Okay. I think I was communicating with you back and forth. Okay. Pronounce your last name for me. Gutierrez. Okay. I had to send you an email because I misspelled your Kaysen with an E-N instead of an O-N. Anyway, you should have it now. But anyway, even Kaysen could use this one. What I'm saying is Kaysen could say, dude, I do real estate different than anyone else. And what that means to you is, one, your home will sell, and two, you'll end up with more money in your pocket than by selling any other way, whether that's with another agent or by owner. And I know that's a big promise, but if you knew it were true, would you even want to hear about it? I'm trying to think if I put these out. I had them out before. If you will, send me an email, dean@kwwestfield.com. I'll send you that script, so you don't have to have it written down word for word. But I use it. It's one that you would use when you're talking with sellers on the phone, because you want to give them a value proposition. Why should I talk to you? Now, I'm not saying that this is a perfect one, but it aligns with my, if you will, your governing values or your mission statement. My mission statement, and I can't quote it because it's been a while. I've been remiss in reading through it, but it has something to do with this. I improve other people's lives simply by interacting with them. And so in the world of real estate, I do real estate differently than anyone else. And what that means to you is two things. One, that your home will sell, and two, that you'll have more money in your pocket than by selling any other way. Whether it's with cash, I'm just teasing, whether it's with another agent or whether you sell it by owner. And I know that's a big promise, but if you knew it were true, would you even want to hear about it? Okay. Did anybody in this room, because I can't see you guys online, did you kind of your head say, how is that possible? How can you do that? How do you know? Because you're going to do everything, right? You'll do what it takes to get a home sold. Cash, how many doors did you knock? Grab the mic behind you, if you would. Just because I picked on him because he did an open house for me. Cash, how many doors did you knock?
100.
100 doors.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't put out signs, but you had the open house set up.
No, we had signs.
Oh, you had. Oh, so you used your own. You didn't borrow mine. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So how many signs did you put out?
Street signs, we put up 4, and then 2 of the feathers.
Mm-hmm. And then On the Wednesday evening, how many people came to your open house?
Wednesday was probably like 17, 18.
18 parties.
Yeah.
Okay.
18 groups of people.
And then you did a Thursday as well.
Mhm.
And you had fewer, but we had
like 8, 9 come through.
Guys, when I had no idea how to do an open house, because I just thought, oh, I'm just going to have an open house. And I had directionals and I had signs in yards. At that time, the MLS didn't have even an option to show that there was an open house available. I had nobody come. It was awesome. I spent 3 hours in somebody's house, raided their fridge and changed their clicker, because there was nothing else to do because no one came because I didn't know. And I thought open houses don't work. Do open houses work? Yeah. Did you get any clients out of them?
Yeah. Actually, one of the neighbors, they're in we're sending them some market updates now. They want to pay down a little bit, but we did a listing presentation with them. So we're going to sell their house eventually.
Wow. That's fantastic. And so, guys, it works. Just what I'm saying is we do what works to get your home sold. Now, let's also be real. Is an open house to help the seller sell their home? Sure. But what's the best purpose of an open house? It's I call it dirty secret. What's the real reason why we do open houses?
To get buyers.
Yeah. To pick up buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I heard listing presentation. That didn't sound like a buyer listing presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, it really works. And all they have to do is get out there. And part of being in this brokerage is we have a lot of folks that list properties. And a lot of them they're doing what they can to take their Saturdays off or keep their evenings. Wednesday evenings are impossible. I'm doing interviews till 9 or 10 every night, every Wednesday. So I couldn't do it. Now, I'm sorry, grab the mic again really fast. What else did you do to advertise that open house? Because you didn't stop at knocking on doors, 100 doors. You didn't stop at advertising it on UtahRealEstate.com.
Yeah. We also threw it on social media. So we did a lot of stuff on Facebook. I have people that watch all of my business page, and whenever we post anything on there, it gets shared out. So I think specifically on yours, we had about 800 impressions before the open house. So
that's pretty awesome. And did it help me as a broker that's ball and chain to a desk all day? Yeah, it really did. It was a benefit to me. I hope it benefited you, Cash, but it also benefited me. And so if you guys are willing to put in the work, man, do it. It's awesome. This is a great business. I love this business. So coming back full circle, I said, and I was teasing you and said, hey, you guys are purveyors of paperwork. That's what you do. But what you really do, and I want you to understand this from the depths of my heart, is that you are here to change people's lives and to make their lives better. And as you bless people's lives, the byproduct is money. If you bless more lives, you will make more money. I know that sounds crazy. Old proverb goes something like this: if you chase money, it's kind of, is anybody here not married? Okay, not married. If you chase girls, they'll run away. Okay, and I'm just teasing Caden. But if you chase money, it'll run away. But if you bless lives, the money will come to you. I hope it makes sense here, because I promise you it'll make sense here. And they refer to this as the longest 8 inches between your brain and your heart. But once it gets embedded in your heart, then you get that. Because you think about we always think in our heads, I don't want to be sold, right? It's that mindset thing again. But you understand that you're sold every day, are you not? I'm just looking on. Those are some nice shoes, Tyler. So why'd you buy those? Like how they look? Where'd you get them? The Nike store. Yeah, because it said Air Max on them, so I figured it had to be something like that. Okay, Rhea, where'd you get that purse? Because it's for those of you who are watching it, you can see this purse in the dark. Okay, but did someone sell it to you?
I did buy it, yes.
Yeah, but someone sold it to you, or you just walked in and took it and didn't talk to anybody, and you walked straight to the cashier and stopped. Probably close. Yeah. I want you to know that everything you buy, whether it's, a large purchase like a car, certainly like a home, someone sold you on it. Whether it's that hat. Now, Kate, why a New Zealand hat? I'm teasing, right? Because it means something to you in here, right? But it was also, there's something about the hat that got your attention, because there's more hats than that one that says New Zealand on it. But someone helped you. What I'm saying is, it was displayed in such a way that you could do it. Our marketplace, the MLS, is a way to display your listings. Now, if you do, no, I've got a good camera on here, but if you just use your camera phone and take all your pictures, it may not be as good a shelf location as if you get a professional photographer to come in and take your photos. Does that kind of make sense? There's a difference, because you've seen bad photos on listings before, I'm guessing, as you're looking at homes. So, it's just those kinds of things. Do what it takes to bless someone's life. Because if you bless their life, money will come to you. It's a scary thing. So go out there and bless some lives. All right. As you write your value proposition, so I'm going to, those of you that have done your value propositions, I want you to revisit that and just make sure that it aligns with your values. Again, my mission statement: I improve other people's lives simply by interacting with them. My real estate value proposition is, I do real estate differently than anyone else. And that means two things. What are the two things? One, your home will sell, or we'll find you a great home. And two, I'll put more money in your pocket than by selling any other way, whether that's by agent or by owner. And I know that's a big promise, but if you knew it were true, would you even want to hear about it? That's a phone conversation. Would you even want to hear about it, Catherine? Would that? Yeah. And she's going, well, yeah, you could sell my house, right? Anyway, guys, love this business. It's the best business in the world. And that's why I continue to do it. I was one of those wanderers. Every 2 or 3, 4 years, I'd find another career path, because I was in sales since 1989, and just wasn't very fun until I found real estate 20 years ago. And that's why I'm doing it still, because it's that fun. All right. So your vision, your future, your big life. What does a big life look like to you guys? Catherine, you hand the mic back to Kason.
Is this like my end goal?
Yeah. What is your big life? What look, I'm going to change the perspective. The purpose of business is to fund a perfect life. The purpose of business is to fund your perfect life. What is a perfect life for you?
A nice house. Right now I have a son and another on the way, but we would like a big family. Going to the islands, like going to New Zealand. My wife's from the Philippines, so going to the Philippines. We like to travel to those islands, and yeah, just being happy with my family.
Okay, so family sounds like a big why. Okay, I want you to think about that, because we talk about that a lot in this business, your big why. Pass it over here to Caden. So what are some of your big whys?
Big why? Really, one thing is myself. I want to do things that are ultimately making me happy, things that I want to do. I think that there's a lot of things in my life that I've been scared myself out of it. So yeah, I think just putting myself in a position that I feel like is going to make me happy. I want to continue to just do what I want to do, I guess.
Okay, can I challenge you a little bit?
Yep.
I promise it's not a negative challenge.
Yeah.
Help me understand happy. What does that mean to you?
I don't know. That's kind of a big question.
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
Or why? Think 2-year-olds. Anybody have 2-year-olds? My baby's having her 3rd baby, so I'm in a different stage of life than some of you. But why? But as you start to dig deeper, I understand. I want to be happy,
Mhm.
but why do you want to be happy?
I mean, doesn't everyone want to be happy?
I can tell you the answer is no to that one, sadly. But
Yeah.
I think, and again, I'm going to use really incorrect language. Normal people want to be happy.
Right.
They also need to define that happiness. And that's kind of where I'm challenging you is as you put together your big whys, as you put together your life and you map out where you want to be. See, I think ultimately it comes down to relationships. And so I'm just giving you an opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right, but I think it comes down to our relationships because our happiness certainly is, I'm very happy on my own, but I'm super happy with my boss. She's my world and all that. And it doesn't matter who you're in, I'm going to say in that relationship. And in ours, we have 4 kids. We have 7 2/3 grandchildren. And those things, all of a sudden, that my why has expanded, if that makes sense. And so what I want each of you to do is ponder what really matters. What's that big why in your life? And today, single guy, absolutely, it's about you until you have a relationship where you're saying, dude, now it's about us.
Right.
It goes on. And so that's what's exciting is these can evolve, but our big whys. So let me ask a different question then. Okay. What gets you up in the morning? What gets you here? You came to a class today. What was one of the driving forces that got you here?
I mean, really that. I mean, I want to be independent. You know, I want to be on my own. I don't want to have to rely on other people for regardless of what it might be to do what I want to do. So
fantastic. Hand it over here to Catherine. Catherine, what's your big why?
My big why is just being able to provide for my family so we can have a lifetime of happiness. But I guess my happiness would be going on trips, having a big house, having a big family, and providing.
Where do you want to go? Trips. I heard trips.
Yeah.
That sounds plural. So where's one place?
Bora Bora. That's like
seriously.
Yeah.
Tell me about your research.
It's more my mom's research too, but it's pretty expensive, but it's like super pretty. Yeah.
Okay. What's the attraction to Bora Bora?
I don't know.
There's New Zealand.
True. The Caribbean life, the scenery, all the things you can do, the amenities.
And it's expensive because of the accoutrements that are available. Pass it over to Rhea. Rhea, share with us a couple of your big whys. What gets you up? What gets you excited?
Well, I've taught school for 18 years. So I just stopped teaching school after 18 years. And
what level?
I'm mostly kindergarten, but elementary.
Okay.
And I'm at the point in my life where I've realized I want to have a stronger relationship with my mom because she won't be there forever. And I want to really know my neighbors. I've lived in the same neighborhood for 9 years, but I've worked so much. I have a side business too, that I just haven't been able to participate in all the fun neighborhood activities. So it's been really fun over the last couple of months. I've just been building those relationships. So I'm glad you said that. It's not just your marriage and your kids, but there are a lot of relationships. And I think after living a while, you realize that's what really matters. Now, of course, I'd love to pay off my house and have more financial freedom, but I also am excited about having more flexibility and time for myself to exercise or, even having those relationships really helps with our health. And anyway, having the flexibility. I love traveling too. I think that's everything.
Oh, that's a good start. Yeah, fantastic. Tyler.
So right now, I guess, so my why is obviously my wife and our future family. I want a really nice house and nice cars, and I want to have quite a bit of rental properties just to create passive income. So even when we are on trips or I'm taking time off, I'm still generating money. We like going on lots of trips, so going to Europe would be pretty fun.
So have you been to Europe?
I haven't.
Not yet?
My wife's been to Europe a lot
Okay.
with her family, but I've never been.
You know what? Jump on that gravy train. I'm
Yeah.
teasing. That's awesome. No. So it's keep going.
Yeah.
That's what we cashier.
My big why is my family. Like, more than anything else, it's my family, including like my dad, right? I don't have my mom, but my dad is my hero. And so he's getting older, and he's getting to the point where he's about ready
He's
to
probably
retire.
60.
Um,
I'm kidding you, dude.
yeah. But anyways, he's not in the best health, and he wants to retire, and he wants to go around and see the surrounding states and stuff, but he doesn't really have the available finances to do that. And because everything he's done for me, I want to be able to help him with his goals. And so it's all of my immediate family, my wife, my sisters, and my daughter especially, right? But I've had a lot of people that I really wished that I could have been more impactful in their life pass away before I could do that. And so it's really about making sure that I'm in a position now that I can help everybody that's around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Your big whys are, and I don't mean this in a silly way, they're monstrous, because they're most important things to you. And we talk about relationships and having experiences. And I refer to relationships because so often those relationships matter more when they're gone. 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago, my father passed away, but we didn't have him probably the last 4 or 5 years of his life. He started struggling with dementia. But when I started, and I loved what Reyes said, she talked about flexibility. We moved to Utah in 2000, so 22 years ago. And I made a promise to my dad, anytime you come up, we're going fishing. And they came up at least once a year. And I have a brother that relocated and moved up here. And I just said, to my brother David, I said, let's go. Dad's here. We're going to go fish on this. He's coming up. Get your schedule set up. Let's go. Maybe once my brother joined me, but my dad and I, we always got to go fish. It was never about the fishing or the catching, but it was always about spending time with Dad and the relationship. Even as his memories were slipping, he didn't have Alzheimer's, that's different. But as his dementia, was setting in more, we could talk about fishing and he could recall those experiences that we had created. Same thing with children, with grandchildren. You want to have those experiences, and those, again, with neighbors. What neighborhood do you live in, Rhea? Okay, you're up in Edgemont in Provo. I've got a cousin and his wife that live there. Another David and Michelle. I don't know if you know them or not. They live just south of, they're just off of Timview Drive in about 27, 28th north. Anyway. Oh, okay. Okay. Do you know the Hepworths, Natalie and Paul? They live just literally behind Days Market. There's a street, they have a house there. Anyway, so family stuff. But all I'm saying is become the queen of the neighborhood. Pick, where you live. Why not have a block party? Hey, just organize, I'm just thinking out loud, organize something fun. And let's do a block party. Let's have a neighborhood garage sale, yard sale, just something like that. It's pain in the rear to organize, but all of a sudden you become the party queen, and you're making, or party king. Sorry, Tyler. But you become a focal point, and this is someone that cares about our neighborhood, cares about our block, and it makes a big difference. But did you bless someone's life? I was just thinking through this while they were meeting, I think that I heard them noisily leaving. Brett Wild and his team, they're doing something. Brett's got a couple of these big utility trailers, And he'll see somebody working in the yard and he'll say, hey, can I just drop a trailer by for all the yard waste? If you just dump stuff, then I'll take it to the dump for you. He just does that in his neighborhood. And he'll drop it off. On the side, of course, he has all of his branding, but he does that every week. He's driving around looking where he can drop his trailer. There are folks, this is something down the road. This is not, don't run up and buy a trailer, okay? Don't do that, all right? But does that make sense? Do something where you're giving value and you're becoming a part of and creating relationships. That's what they refer to, those value propositions, because we have words and we have actions. If there's opportunities to serve, you'll find that in the Keller Williams family. That's what we try and do a lot of, is adding value. So who's up to read? I think it's you, Rhea. There you go.
One thing all high achievers have in common is they are working for a big why. The big why is about having a purpose, a mission, or a need that in turn gives you focus.
Okay, we're going to keep going through some slides because obviously I got ahead of myself. Big because you are after extraordinary results. And why is the reason you get up every day to do what you do. So that's why they have that big why. See, for some, and here's the thing, and Gary's really funny because Gary Keller, when he talks about some of this stuff, he said, you can get big by going smaller. Do something big by going small. Sometimes and I'm just, a while back, I'm thinking of in American Samoa, they had major hurricane go through, destroyed villages, and I want to make an impact there. Tonga just had some issues. Again, storms had gone through, destroyed villages. People were killed. Yeah, I want to have an impact there. So I have cousins, I have family. But I also want to have impact right here. If you started in your family, expanding to your neighborhood, expanding to your city, you can have huge impacts. You can be a large impact in a smaller pond. And that's all I'm saying is don't discount the small things. So big why powers your big life. And so these are just important pieces. Don't forget that. So any ahas about, we talked about, your ahas, your mindset, anything come up that you said, oh, I didn't think of it that way before. Nothing. Okay. I'm so delighted I inspired you all. We're going to move on just because of time. So we talked about the mindset, now having a smart money business. I love when people call me during the day. And I know that it's a spam call when it comes to, because I have filters on my phone. They're pretty cool. All right, let's talk about this. 6 core competencies of a business. You want to pass the mic over? We'll make Catherine read to us, if you would.
Just 1 through 6? Or...
Yes, please.
Okay. Lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. Present to buyers and sellers and get agreement.
Oh, stop. Get agreement. What does that mean? Think contracts. Okay. See, because you meet with people, and we talk about that conversion process, right? I lead generate, and my first conversion is to get the appointment. Once I have the appointment, I want to get to paperwork. And now this is where your broker's crazy. Get paperwork in place, because nothing happens until, I have to say, no job is finished till the paperwork is done. And that's why paperwork in this business is so important, because you have contracts and you want to make sure. So anyway, that's that. I wanted to make sure we understood that. So next one.
Show buyers and market sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Write and negotiate contracts. Coordinate the sale to closing. And manage the money.
All right, we're going to talk about the 6th one today, managing the money. That's the second time you've called me. Stop that. Okay. Have you ever seen this presentation? If you come into my office, you'll see a torn up dollar bill that I've taped back together. Okay. The presentation goes something like this. Well, how do you guys get paid? Now I'm going to talk from a listing perspective really quickly, because if you think on the list side, they go, you want 6%? Yeah, I do. Because with that 6%, I am going to use part of that to do a marketing campaign. And with that, I'm going to take a portion of that and pay, and I'll just pick, I'm going to pay Kaysen a finder's fee to bring a buyer to my house. So you didn't pay the buyer, I did. That's why I charge 6% though, so that I can pay a finder's fee. So right up front, boom, half of it goes away. So am I keeping all 6% of your $100,000 house? I get all 6,000? Nope. Because 3,000 I'm giving to Kaysen. Are you okay with that? So because you're having to do the work finding and showing homes, and you have to write a competitive contract so that you can tempt my sellers to sell to you, to your client, right? Okay. Then, yeah, brokers don't work for free. So the broker in the market center, we got to keep the lights on, got to keep these mics live, got to feed batteries in these things. Okay, and I'm teasing. Then you also have some business expenses and taxes and everything else. So that's yours right there. And so part of that presentation was you would take that dollar bill. Do you have a dollar? Take a 20 or whatever. And they go, first of all, half of it goes to someone else. Half of it goes to my broker. A portion of what's left, about a half of that goes to my broker or so. And then another portion of that goes to taxes. And so what I have left is what it takes to market your home and to feed my family. And you want this? You know, because what would you have me not do to get your home sold? And all that. Buyer's agents work, you guys work crazy like crazy, don't you? Yeah, you do. You're out there hustling because it's easy right now. It's easy to find buyers, but are buyers like jumping out, buying everything right now? They're not. The market has shifted. It used to be you'd write 10 offers before you could hope to get one. Anyway, you cannot connect to iCloud. We're going to do this later. Okay. So you don't get to keep all of it because, like I said, Uncle Sam and Uncle Spencer want their pieces as well. So let's talk about being financially sound or financially unsound. This is just a really quick slide. And do you guys have these slides in your books as you go through them? On the left, this just uses easy numbers. So there's a $9,000 commission. The brokerage takes, in this example, it's a standard KW brokerage split, 30% plus 6, because 6 goes to international. And this is for somebody who's not capped. So you get your 64%, and then it goes right into your bank account and into your wallet. Okay, what's the problem here? Yeah, you're not feeding the business. What else? Yeah, let's talk about April. Okay, because it's always coming. All right. So this is the being more financially sound place. Same number gets paid to Jessica in this scenario. Jessica takes 30% of that money, drops it into her bank account to cover business costs. What kinds of costs do you have in your business that are fixed costs? Whether or not you sell a piece of property. Does anybody here have a mobile phone? Are they free? Nope. Anybody have a car payment? Because you need a vehicle to take yourself around. You might even, most of the time I found in my business today is I'm caravanning with buyers if I'm working with a buyer. Rare is the day. It used to be, I would say, buyer, before I get in your car, I want to make sure that you're actually a buyer. We're going to have you talk with my lender. That's a buyer presentation. And that was a different class you guys already had. But I would say before I jump into your car and take your time and waste your valuable time, I want to make sure that you're real. And so I'm going to have you talk to my lender. My lender will then tell me what homes we should be looking at, because I would never want to show you a home that you can't have. That's a good line. You should steal that one. I would never want to show you a home that you can't have. Because some people, as they tease, they have, champagne tastes on a beer budget, root beer budget. Okay. They have a sparkling cider, teasing them, trying to be appropriate for this valley. And I love this valley, right? You can have different tastes. So anyway, put some money back into your business. Then in the personal bank account, Jessica set aside, I can't remember the numbers now exactly. I want to say it's another 30% for taxes. So what she actually put into her wallet was $2,500, just shy of $2,500, $2,400 and change. So how many deals does Jessica need? This is a question each of you would answer differently. How many deals does she need to make a $9,000 commission to have a comfortable monthly income? She might need to do 2, 3, or 4 deals in a given month. Does that make sense? What's 9 times 3? How many $270,000 properties have you seen lately? So the numbers are going to be bigger, right? If you got 3%, because I can do math, kind of. So all I'm saying is if it was a $10,000 commission, you'd have roughly $6,000 and the numbers will still work out. But again, not a whole ton of $300,000 properties out there today, unless you're looking at mobile homes and others. It's just the market has shifted dramatically. Here are just some fun numbers for you. Anybody look at your email yet today and see that you got something from me? Okay. Did you look at the numbers, what it showed? Today was the first day that we crossed the 6,000 total listings on the multiple listing service today since June of 2020. Big deal. In June of 2020, the median list price on a home was $334,000. Today, or for the month of May, the median price last month, the median priced home was $524. So it's gone up $190,000 in 2 years for the median priced home, meaning there's as many above as there are below. We're in a different world. Welcome to California, dude, right? It's a little different. Another Gary Kellerism, money is good. Money is good for the good it can do, okay? And again, that's where your big why comes in. Money is good for the good it can do. We have classes here too. I know that we're a crazy business. We're a marketing company. We're a training company disguised as a real estate company. Okay, because it's more than just selling real estate. If you go to other brokerages, and some of you will, because your broker's a jerk, and I get it. We talk more about not just about the real estate. We talk about what you can do with your lives. It's that time and life management thing, and we train crazy. But we have classes all about wealth management. You'll see that come up in our team meetings. I hope that you come to team meetings because I think there's some value there. Shoni's done an amazing job. As you guys work with Riley, you're going to hear some stuff about how to build a business that will certainly generate money because you're blessing more lives and all that. So let's talk about the flow of money. This is what most people do as they look at money. And sorry, this is a little light. Income that comes in, expenses, what goes out, and what's left over is profit. But what they want you to see is, whoops, I looked at the wrong one. There, is setting your goals. What's my profit goal so that I generate the income, know that there are some fixed expenses that will come in so that I can hit your profit? Or what do I get to put in my pocket? What do I get to keep? Generally, we look at even not just profit. We talk about GCI a lot, your gross commission income. Because it starts from there. And I always say, whatever your GCI is, you get to spend if you just use easy numbers, you get to spend about half of it. all that. So anyway, it's a great model to look at. So let's talk about cost of sales and operating expenses. So where's the mic? Oh, Catherine, hand it back to Kason there if you would. Kason, will you just go through cost of sales?
All right, cost of sales, the cost or expenses related to each transaction you make, the cost of making the sale.
Okay, does that make sense? So tied to a listing, so let's just think of a listing. What are some of the costs for a listing? Because it just talks about stuff here. They say cost of sales, and I know that they have over here marketing and advertising, but there's some costs that are associated with the listing. What might be some costs with the listing? All right, photography. Certainly. So I have to order a photographer for a given listing and all that. What else might there be? House cleaning. Absolutely. So prepping the house, staging and all of that. What else might we spend on a listing? Do you want to have a secret listing or do you want to have a sign out front? That might be important. How much are key boxes today? I haven't purchased one for years. If you went to a UCAR store and got a super key box, the iBox, how much are those? They're about I want to say they're about $100. Say again? I think it's like 200, 150. Wow. That's a lot more than I would have thought. So, wow. Welcome to inflation. All right. What else? You might pay for some advertising. You know, I don't do some of your marketing. Did you do Facebook ads? Were they ads then you had? Oh, they were the freebies then. Yep. Okay. But some people will actually market it that way, or they may hire someone to market it. They may pay for a website, all that. So keep on going, Kason. So these are the cost of sales.
So commissions paid to the market center, fees to your broker.
So that's your nasty split with your mean broker. Yeah. Okay.
Royalty fees.
So that's the 6%. So remember 30% to keep our lights on, 6% to international.
Okay.
And then
commissions or splits paid to employees or independent contractors involved in sales.
Okay. So what if two of you were working together and we said we split everything, 50-50? That's what they're talking about. So there's another split there.
All right. And then referral fees.
Okay. So if somebody had sent you the lead for that seller, and then you say, oh yeah, I'll send you 25%. So that's a $10,000 commission. They get $2,500 before you even start talking about your split with the broker and everything else. Does that kind of make sense? It's the referral fees. Okay, operating expenses. Pass it on up here to Caden, if you would.
The cost or expenses related to running your business, whether you have sales or not.
Okay. Right now, as we're going through the shift, we're going to talk about being super careful about these expenses, because this is money that's always going out the door, whether or not you're selling something. Okay, go ahead, Caden.
Rent, auto, salaries for administrative staff, transaction coordinator, runner, and buyer and listing specialists.
Okay. This does not mean that you should quit the team and go on your own and do all your own stuff. So I'm going to fire the TC. I don't want Jen anymore. Okay. You need Jen, and you need the mentoring that comes with it. So this is when you're on your own and you have hired a full-time transaction coordinator and you have staff, on your team. If you're not generating enough leads, let's talk about the solo business, because none of you right now are solos. When you have a solo business, you get to wear every hat, all puns intended. I'm the accountant, I'm the marketer, I'm the sign install guy. See, because some people will hire people to go put the signs in the yard. I'm going to do all the showings. I'm going to, install the key box. I'm going to go take all the photos because I've got my nice SLR, single lens reflective camera, all that. What I'm saying is you have all those pieces that you can put together, or you can hire that stuff out. So as a solo person, you're doing all of that. And that's what they're talking about when they're saying doing it. Because I've had some people misunderstand and say, oh, I just got to quit. Well, no, because a good transaction coordinator, and I use a TC. She lives in Washington State. She's an agent in this brokerage. She hasn't been here for 10 years. She moved to DC chasing a boy. I'm teasing. Got married. Then they relocated back on the other side of the country. They're in Bellingham right now. and she's still an agent in this brokerage, but she saves me 10 to 20 hours a transaction. And so I have that time I could spend on my big whys instead of, or I can spend that time working on generating more business so I can keep her busier, all that. And she has other agents that she works with, just like Jen does, like that. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
Insurance,
Okay. What insurances are we talking about?
medical insurance.
Yeah. Most of them, your auto insurance. And you had to name, an additional insured KW, just in case you're driving to an appointment. It just says they can't sue us anyway, but they can try and sue your broker and all that. And just say, yeah, I've named an additional insured because sometimes I use my car for business purposes. Okay. And then there's E&O insurance as well. Then we do charge you for it. That's per transaction basis. Some brokerages just charge every agent an amount every month. And we don't do that. We do it per transaction. Okay.
Professional services, marketing and advertising, equipment and supplies, education.
Okay. You've heard this before, and I'm just going to talk about it, brush over really briefly, where it says marketing and advertising. When was the last time you were shopping at Smith's or your other favorite grocery store and you saw a sign of a real estate agent in your basket and you said, dang it, that's where I'm going, right? Or a park bench or a golf hole on the ninth, I've got the ninth hole at Alpine Country Club, right? Inside the cup, it has my mugshot, and everybody's trying to roll that little white ball into the cup. Guys, that's marketing. This is a prospecting business, a contact sport. You want to contact people. Marketing is a nice way. Anybody here heard of Joshua Stern? The name ring a bell? Where do you know the name? Yep. His mom was Lee Stern. Yep. She was, you all know Johnny, right? Kinda. Johnny Christensen is the operating partner. He owns this brokerage, or he's the majority share owner of this brokerage. He's also the regional director for Keller Williams, Utah. So he's the regional director for the whole state. Lee was his predecessor. And so Lee did that before Johnny. Joshua Stern, if you listen to talk radio, he advertises quite a bit there. And that's marketing. All he wants to do is he just wants his name to be ubiquitous out there and get it out there. They spend probably $50,000, $60,000 a month on marketing. Okay, now that sounds impossible, but last year, run your numbers, they closed more than 450 transactions as a team. Is it possible they set some of that money aside to market? You see, that's the difference. And so always, and this is a Keller principle from the Red Book, from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, lead with revenue. So if you're going to do something, that's fine, but make sure you have the funds to do that and to run that campaign. So I remember when I was brand new, I started doing a newsletter. I learned how to do it in Word, and I would write all of my own little articles. It was never in color. It was not flashy at all. It was black and white, and I hand delivered them to my neighbors because I couldn't afford the postage. But I could afford, a ream of paper every month, and I can go out and deliver my newsletters. It also forced me to talk to my neighbors. I'm a shy guy. I know it's hard to believe, but my personality is not to be in touch with other people. So anyway, does that kind of give you the perspective? Be smart with your dollars. Over here, spend money where you should. Over here, where can I cut? Am I getting the best insurance rates for my vehicle? Am I doing stuff? Farm Bureau, amazing rates. Bear River Mutual, again, the insurance companies, really good rates. USAA, no one can beat them yet. So I've been there for a lot of years, many decades. All right. So again, best practices. Pass the mic over here, make Cash read to us. Is that turned on?
Yep. All right, best practices. Gain clarity on your big why and plans for your future. Set your personal and business budgets. Open additional bank accounts for taxes, expenses, and other savings. Download and use the MREA chart of accounts. Purchase, download tax accounting software. Hire an accountant, a CPA, attorney, and tax advisor. Set dates to calculate and pay your estimated taxes, and prepare your future, such as insurance, savings, investments.
Okay, let's talk. I want to talk about a couple of these guys really fast because this stuff will make my eyes glaze over. It should make yours. How many of you are accountants and just, oh man, if I could just balance another, balance sheet, that would make my life complete. And you'll find it in your relationships. And again, some of you get to do all of it, right? Do you get to balance your checkbook, your accounts, right? You get to, I don't, because there's someone that I live with doesn't trust me to do that kind of stuff. And she's a smart woman because I couldn't balance a checkbook if my life depended on it. So, but what I'm teasing though is in your relationships, you know who the accountant type is and who is not. And you both may not be, so that's okay too. But know that it's super important to leverage those things that you don't do well. Okay. Get others to do those things that you don't do well. I want to talk really quickly about this. What does this mean? Why would you do this? Why would you have additional bank accounts, taxes, and expenses and other savings?
So that you don't commingle your business money with your personal money?
Yeah, don't commingle those funds. Treat your business like a business. Now, I'm cheap because I'm in Utah County. I have a UCCU family checking account, a family savings account, and then I have because my corporate name is Dean O'Dean Incorporated, I have an S Corp. So it's just called the Dean O'Dean checking account and the Dean O'Dean savings account. The savings account has about $10 in it because it required $5 to open that Dean O'Dean set of accounts. And I have $5 in my checking account. And then money will go in the checking. My boss will go in there. She'll pull it out of that checking account when I get a commission, and she'll put it in all the places where it needs to go. And we get to spend some of it too. Does that make sense? Treat your business like a business. If you haven't had a conversation with Novalee yet, please do. Set up your entity. You should have an LLC or an S Corp. S Corp's a little bit more work. There are more protections for you than an LLC. But have an entity. If you're paying your taxes based on your Social Security number. So anybody here, does anybody have an entity? Okay, you have an entity. Mine's Dean O'Dean Incorporated. I don't know where that came from, but it works. And the reason why is when I pay taxes, I have to pay self-employment tax. So if you get a $10,000 commission, $1,500 of it immediately goes to the Social Security Administration. You pay both halves. Okay, so $1,500. But if I have a $10,000 commission that comes to Dean O'Dean Incorporated, and I pay myself, let's just say 25% of that, I have a $2,500 fee, and 15% of that, I have to then pay self-employment tax on that. But I've saved more money just in that one thing, that one transaction alone. Now, see this when they're hiring an accountant, CPA, attorney, tax advisor. I am not a CPA. I'm not a tax advisor. So do not trust me at all. Stay in your lane and do what you do. You do real estate, but talk with someone that can walk you through it. But what I'm saying is, if you, in your business, let's say you earn $100,000, you could pay $15,000 immediately, due and payable. This is not income tax. That's just $15,000 goes for Social Security, right? But if you paid yourself $50,000 as a salary, now you only owe $7,500. That $7,500 you get to keep in your business, you would take that as dividend income, and you would pay taxes on that income if you kept it as dividend income, or you reinvest it in your business and you do other things with those dollars. I think I am better at spending that $7,500 than Uncle Sam is every day. Okay. So that's just one dumb guy's opinion, but I would say get it set up. You can go to, what is it called? I almost said Zoom. What is the LegalZoom? LegalZoom.com. You can get them and you can set up your corporation or set up your LLC, but have an entity that we write checks to when you start selling properties. I don't want you guys taking it as, to your social security number. We start off with your social because that's what you have, but I want you guys to think about it. That's, if you do anything, you're welcome, because I will have saved you thousands of dollars in taxes. Because who can spend $7,500 better, you or Joe Biden? And it doesn't matter who sits in that office, you or Spencer Cox. Guys, I would rather see you keep your dollars. Okay, so anyway, I'll get off my political soapbox now. Okay, pass it over to Tyler. Make Tyler read to us.
Think and act the wage you want before you earn it. Average is as average does, good is as good does, and great is as great does. What you do is who you become.
There you go. So there's again on the purple wall, it says be, do, have, or be, do, achieve. You have to be the person, who's earning that $250,000 that we talked about. You have to be that person. It doesn't mean you go out and then you do the things to be that person. Does that make sense? Be, do, and then have, and then you'll achieve and have those things. But in your head, you have to already be there. Does that make sense? I'm going to talk about relationships one more time, because I do this a lot with the singles that I work with in my church. They're all 31 to 45. I have everything from failure to launch to PhDs and attorneys, in this group of 31 to 45-year-olds. And it's a different world, and it's a hard world for them. But some of them have achieved great things, but it starts here. They're great because they've chosen to be great, and then they're doing things to prove themselves great. And now they have those things. And so what I'm saying is, in your real estate world, in your personal lives, same kind of a process. You have to be the person. I will say, you have to be that person, be a whole person, so that then you can, again, I'm talking about my singles, so that then you can come and meet another whole person, and the sum parts of the two of you was greater than the individual parts. I know that sounds impossible. I will say 2 + 2 equals, or 1 + 1 equals 3. And it doesn't mean you had kids, but it's because they can be so much more than you could be all by yourself, and he or she could be all by him or herself. And so, I'm thinking, if you think along in people lines, this is what Gary's trying to share with you too. If you're going to be something great, then act like someone great. But please don't mistake this and say, oh, let's go out and let's raise all kinds of debt, and let's buy, I want the Caddy now, or I want the Mercedes now, but I have nothing to back it up. But so be smart about it too. But have the mindset. I may be driving a Hyundai, but since it's going to morph into a Mercedes, whatever that dream car is, morph into a Tesla. There's a lot of those out in this parking lot. Okay. Net income goals. So there's just two, I say, errors here. Instead of GCI, make it net income goal on here. Now, each of you, because you're on the Transcend team, this is basically, it's just 50%. So it's instead of 15, it's half, because you're on a team, and it doesn't matter if you're on this team or if you're on Red Sign team or if you are on Dan Kennedy's team, the Wild team. What the individuals will do, there's value that being on a team, that's why you should get on a team. You should be on a team. Now, you're talking to a solo guy here, but you get on a team because being on the team, I will earn more money by being on the team than I would be if I were doing it by myself. Because I'm not doing the marketing, I don't have the transaction coordination, I don't have to worry about the office space. I'm on the team, and they're bringing me value. They're giving me leads. They're pointing me the direction down the path. Does that make sense? That's why you join a team. Let me turn this. Sorry about that. because otherwise it would be $18,000 on that. If you were a solo, like I'm a solo agent, it's $18,000. So if my goal were $100,000 of my net income, I would have $18,000 plus an additional $35,000. So my total gross commission income goal and business expense, I would probably even make it more because I would add my taxes in there as well. Anyway, just let's just say it just double it, make it 70%. So it's $70,000. So I have $85,000 plus my $100,000. I need to earn $185,000 of gross commission income to net $100,000 that I can spend. Does that kind of make sense? So I'm just showing you some numbers there. And I said 15, add another 3, I'd have to be $188,000 to do that. So a lot of times, whatever your net income goal is, this is just because I'm all about easy. I want an easy button. Dean, what's the easy button? Whatever your net income goal is, your gross commission income goal probably needs to be double that. So if I want to have, $100,000 in my pocket, I probably need to be earning somewhere about $200,000 of gross commission income. In today's world, how many sales is that? Can you get $10,000 commissions fairly regularly? Yeah, you can. And you're giving half to your team. So I need to have $200,000 to keep $100,000. And that's really about, does that make sense? I'm trying to use easy numbers and all that. But figure out what you want to do and then do a stretch goal. So really fast, nobody look, right on there. What do you want your net income goal to be in your first year, your third year, and your fifth year? Write those numbers down. Just really fast. Don't think about it. Just write them down on a blank spot on your page. What's your net? What do you want? What do you want to walk away with? Year 1, 3, and 5. This is not hard. You should be done. Now, I want you to look at the 5-year goal and I want you to double it. Just write the new number on there. That's your stretch goal. This doesn't mean you have to do it for me because I don't know what your number is. But I want you to know that it is absolutely possible and it's doable. And that's the exciting part about this business. The only limits to your sales are you. It's you. You can do this. And it's the greatest business ever. Can I tell you, I used to work for a financing company, a financial planning company, Waddell and Reed, back in the day, based in the greater Kansas City, Missouri area. They were actually, I can't remember the name of the city anymore. This is back in 1989. And it was really cool. But every day my mindset was, I'm waking up, I'm unemployed. I need to find someone that wants to invest dollars or needs insurance products and help them. And so I sold their mutual funds, had their insurances, and their annuity products. The problem was, if somebody wanted a fidelity product or they wanted, pick your poison, another investment, I couldn't sell it to them because I don't have access to that. I only had access to my quiver. It was a small quiver. I had a few arrows in it. In real estate, there are no limitations. If it has an address and it's in Utah, you can sell it. If you have a buyer that wants to buy in a particular neighborhood and there aren't any homes for sale in that neighborhood, is that possible today? A lot. How many homes in that area where you're walking around Airport Drive, in Lehigh, where my listing is, how many homes were available for sale in there? Goose Egg, I have the only listing in that neighborhood, that whole area. There was the only one there. And so someone said, but I want to live there. I don't want to spend $700,000 for that listing. I want to spend less than that. So I need a smaller house, maybe a smaller lot. I have gone through neighborhoods and I've knocked on doors and said, somebody wants your floor plan. It was easy. It happened to be an Ivory Homes subdivision. And I said, somebody wants a Sorrento floor plan. It's a floor plan that has 3-car garage, master on one side, 2 finished bedrooms on the other side, Huge great room kitchen area, formal dining room or living room, depends on how you want to use it, on the main. And then it has, and it was about 5,500 square feet so half of that on each floor. It's a rambler. I knocked in every Sorrento in my neighborhood because somebody wanted one. And they always say, it's always the last place you look. Well, the last house I knocked on, I said, hey, I have someone that really wants a Sorrento. Have you guys thought about selling? Because I got a lot of no, right? Because would you expect that? Most people, and are you guys ready to move right now? Yeah, not going to do it. Or do my George Bush, not going to do it. Bottom line is, it was the last door I knocked on. And they said, funny, you should ask. Because we were just talking about this last night. We actually want to downsize. I sold that house to Don and Mayreen. Now, Don's long past, Mayreen's long past. They were in their early 80s. This is about 10 years ago. Don passed 4 or 5 years ago. Mayreen followed about 2 years ago. Upstairs, they were living in the basement, and they'd finished it out with a full kitchen. But Don and Mayreen, their daughter and her husband, they're both deaf, hearing impaired, and they lived upstairs. And so this way the house could transfer to them without there even having a tax consequence, because all 4 of them were on title. And it was kind of a cool thing, but it blessed their lives. It blessed the lives of the people that sold it, because I knocked on those doors. But because it has an address in Utah, I can sell it, and so can you. And so your quiver is pretty big. I don't care if it's listed by Keller, don't care if it's listed by Coldwell or Brand X or Brand H. It just doesn't matter. You can sell it. And that's the beauty of, that's what I love about real estate, is I wasn't limited to the arrows that, these guys gave me. So anyway, fun stuff. Set your goals and move toward that. And then there's a process to use command. This is why you have Jen. Okay. I don't mind. I would hope that on your first couple of transactions that you kind of get into command and understand how to use it and close stuff there. But I would also expect that you hire someone to do that, because again, that 10 or 20 hours, you can be finding another buyer or another seller, or 2 or 3 in that time. Because how many hours do you want to work a day roughly? How many hours should you spend prospecting a day? About 3 hours a day. Is there a chance you can find one person who wants to buy, sell, or get rich by investing in real estate in 3 hours? Even in Ephraim? Posible. Okay, it is possible. Okay. Any ahas? We talked about money stuff. We get to fly through all the fun stuff. Anything? Nothing?
I need to make a bank account that has...
Here you go.
I need to make a bank account that has individual savings accounts rather than just one savings account. Because, all that money is kind of commingled together right now.
Yeah, you need to have a business account for sure. Do that. Hang on, here someone's bugging me. I will call you later. Okay, any other ahas? Who here is going to set up an entity before the end of the month? You all better have an entity, because again, unless you have great faith and hope in the federal government, let them spend all your money. It is awesome. Just pay more in taxes. It's okay. Okay. Committing to success systems for life. Walk me through this. This is, all right. Is this in your book? Yeah. Whoop, hang on a sec here.
What kind of company do you have set up for yourself? Like accountant wise, if that makes sense. Like speaking.
Yeah, you missed it. I have an S corp.
S corp. Okay, I think that's what he told me to set
Yeah.
up.
And
But
the
I
reason
couldn't
why
remember.
there's greater protections in an S corp. There's also more, I'll just say more headache. That's why I have a CPA that does this every month. I get an email from my CPA, or quarterly, I should say. I get an email from my CPA. He says, send me a check for $100, and this is how much you should pay in taxes. Pay here and here, and then I let my boss do it.
Okay.
My wife does it because she doesn't trust me. I'm one of those.
I also am the boss in my house
There you
over
go.
money.
No, because when it comes to this, seriously, I'll say, what do you mean we're out of money? I still have checks. So yeah, she doesn't let me do that.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, S corp is what I would recommend.
Okay.
And then again, hire someone smart that will be a good tax advisor for you on that. Okay, who can tell me about this daily success system? First of all, you have this in your book. Would you like a secret? Make a photocopy of this, make a bunch of copies of it, and use one every day. So walk me through, Cash, what are those? The 10 conversations, what does that mean?
So yeah, the first 3 are your daily 10-4. So
Okay.
that's what you should do during your lead generation time, right? You need to have 10 conversations with people in your database.
Okay.
The next one's add 10 contacts to your database a day.
Okay.
And then 10 handwritten notes. Those can be, thank you cards or announcement letters, whatever you want to write there.
Okay. What is the 10-5-1?
That's your social media presence. That's how you gauge that. So 10, you need to have 10 interactions on social media, which is like a like or any sort of thing like that. 5 comments, and then 1 personal post. Or 1 post that you write.
So I actually have to post to my this is Facebook, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Meta. Okay.
I mean, Facebook
or Instagram.
Yeah.
Meta. Okay. Yeah. Because they're both owned by the Facebook organization. Okay, thanks. I didn't know that. That's why I was asking, because this is new to me. But guys, I know this is crazy, if you'll just make a photocopy of this page, you can get them done. I've seen them on business cards or have something where you're just keeping track. We've talked about accountability partners and all that. Who here has an accountability partner? Who's your partner? Does he do a good job with you? Okay. Does it sometimes make it uncomfortable? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes she's laughing. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. It's Michelle, right? Okay. So I'm going, I have a Teflon memory. Nothing sticks. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, 4? Oh, I'm teasing. Yeah. All right. What are enrichments? Catherine, can you tell me what those are? Do you know what they are? No, I'm just because I haven't seen this. That's why I'm just asking. So
I would guess it's something like that helps enrich your company.
Okay, something that enriches your business, something to get out there and it might be in a week's time. Maybe you're doing something of service, something of, I'll say. I say service, but it could be I'm involved in an activity, volunteering, doing something. You want to keep track of how many appointments you have, how many contracts you wrote, and then closings. They use that word generically. I say settlement, right? Because that's what my contract tells me. But when did somebody actually go to sign closing documents and all of that? So enrichments, those could be monthly. Did I do any enrichments during the day? Every year you have 1 day a year. It's always the second Thursday of May. We have Red Day. That's for renew, energize, and donate. There's some wonderful opportunities. I don't know anybody involved in Red Day this year. It was really awesome. I got to go to a park and I got to peel tape off underneath all of these tables in under this one cabana. And it was pavilion. Thank you. That was, I knew it was one of those words. It was bigger than a cabana. All right. But it was, you know what though? It made a difference to the people that used it that following weekend. I know. And they just said, would you guys do that? The other people were, using weed whacking around park, playground stuff. They're sanitizing playground equipment and all that. I just took the one where I could lay down under the table and use a paint scraper to peel tape off of it, where people tape their tablecloths down. It was awesome. Okay, guys, if you'll use a tool like this, something just to keep track of. A lot of times I'll use tick marks for my conversations. This is kind of a cheat. If you have a conversation, you should have a handwritten note. Hey, thanks for getting together. Some of those, I know there's, I'm trying to remember what it's called now. I think it's calligraphy.com. How many here still write cursive? So you still writing cursive? You writing cursive? Okay, won't work. Sorry. I am a child. I write in all caps, and it's not pretty. But because I go to, I've changed it out. Use calligraphy.com. You can actually print out a template, write each letter of the alphabet, upper and lowercase if you choose. Your numbers 1 through 0, commas, apostrophes, colons, semicolons, slashes, whatever you would use. And then you scan it, send it in. That actually creates a font on your computer. You can type your notes, you can bold them, you can change the colors of your letters, but it is your handwriting because you wrote it. It's your handwriting. And so I literally can use that. If you want to see an example, ask me and I'll shoot you guys a copy of something. But I do all my thank you notes that way because I can print out 2 thank you notes. If you have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and you cut it in half, I have 2 foldable thank you notes. So I have my logo and a thank you on the front. Inside, I have blue lettering, blue ink that will print out my letters with my handwritten note. That's why I said I'll be happy to send you a copy. Just send me an email, dean@kwwestfield.com. Okay, but you can get it. I'm just saying there are some shortcuts that you can take that look good, but it's personalized. I just type a whole lot faster than I write. And as I get older, I have writer's cramp, so I can get through it. Anyway, there's some secrets that help, but look for those. Importance of accountability. We talked a little bit about it. This is why your partner should help you understand, remind you of this. Something that I heard, and it wasn't in this, it's not in this course. Become comfortable and thrive with the mundane. 3 hours a day of contacting people. That can be, it's not painful, but it can be really mundane. It's like, I'm going to make my calls again today. Oh, I get to contact people today. Maybe switch it up on how you contact folks. Let's pretend that you have Theo at the mall. So I'm going to call it mall contacting. Can you imagine how you might contact someone at a mall? You might see a man or a woman doing this. And you may just approach them innocently. Oh, is it a son or a daughter teenager that you're waiting on? Or is it a spouse? Kind of thing. And have that conversation. I'm just picking on Rhea because I know she has a Theo. But Theo's, let's say he's at the virtual reality store and he's got a half-hour gaming, doing whatever. And so you're kind of hanging out, you're waiting on him. You can do some mall contacting. And you might just find someone and say, oh, you have someone here too? It's like the parents are kind of hanging out waiting because Theo at 14 is not driving yet, right? Thank you. But you might say, oh, so what do you do? Because isn't that what people do? We ask, hey, so what do you do? That's almost guy talk. What do you do? So Michelle, what do you do? And okay. But what happens if somebody asks, now, if you're Americans, and I'm teasing because we can all be American, I don't care where you're from, you could, I lived in Thailand for a couple of years, was a missionary for my church. And I could spend the rest of my life there, but I'll never become Thai. But someone from Thailand could come to this country, naturalize and become a US citizen, and they can become Americans. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. So I'm saying, if you're American, generally what will happen is, so if I asked, I'll just pick on Riley because Riley just walked in. Riley, what do you do? And after Riley tells me what he does, and Riley's going to be polite, what's he going to ask me? What are you going to ask me, Riley? Oh, what do I do? Oh, and what's my answer? Pushy realtor. I help people buy, sell, and get rich by investing in real estate. See, they're scaring me. They're really good here, Riley. All right. But it reminds you of your big why, because contacting people all the time can get mundane. Let me share one more really quick one with you too. There's this guy named Clay Winder. Last year, he closed 84 transactions on his own that at least had his name on them. But Clay works here. He's on the Red Sign team. And he started off when he was brand new. I was his broker. He actually started before I became the broker, but he would literally every day, he would contact 5 people, direct message them in Facebook. So you can steal this idea because it still works. Don't contact more than 5 because you'll be overwhelmed if you do. But he would say, he'd find someone that he hadn't talked to for a while. Hey, how you doing? Is that a script you can live with? Hey, how's it going? How's it? Right? But why did you laugh? It's a cultural thing. Okay. But you can say, all right. But literally, he would say, how's it going? He would turn Facebook off. Look, the NRA is calling. So literally, he would just turn off Facebook because is it a black hole? Don't get sucked into the black hole of Facebook or Instagram or anything else. But he would just send 5 direct messages. At 3 o'clock, he would check it to see if anybody engaged. Typically, he would have 3 people that would engage. And he would, they'd say, oh, Clay, it's been a long time. Haven't heard from you. And had that conversation. And then he would just engage them for the rest of the day, just going back and forth. And he would check again if they responded back using Messenger. And eventually he would get to a question. So what are you doing? What do you do? And then they would engage. But you see how this could be overwhelming during a week's time if you have too many of these going on? No more than 5 a day. Yeah.
So for today's lead gen challenge after this class, one of the things we're going to talk about is social media messages. And I love that Dean brought that up. So we put together a script that will allow you to do essentially the same thing, but get their phone number. So then you can call them and go through the Ford script and essentially accomplish the same thing he's saying, but back to back to back. And that's an easy way you can hit your 10 contacts for the day because you can send out 30 messages, schedule calls with those people. And then you're like we talked about, Tyler, your day's stacked. You have 5 people that are expecting your call versus, cold calling people basically. So,
yeah. But this is what happened. After Clay started doing this consistently, he was getting 3 to 5 closings a month. Because, my sister, because Clay was just a punk. He just graduated from college. I'm teasing. He wasn't a punk, but he just graduated from college. And he said, I'm getting closings because they would say, my sister, she's going to be, my parents are moving. Isn't that more fun when you're working with someone who's in their 20s and their parents are probably in their 40s, could be getting into their 50s. They're probably working at a different price point than someone looking for their first condo. And so he was getting some of the best of both worlds. And so he's able to actually make those contacts. But it started off with how's it going? And hey, it's been a while. How are you guys doing? And that was literally it. Oh, we just had our 10th kid. We're in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo. That's someone with a real estate problem. You can help them out on that. Anyway, whoops, wrong one. So there's different tools for accountability. We're going to go through it quickly. Any good stories about accountability partners you want to share? Something that's helped you. Wow, this is a tough crowd.
Sometimes they just blankly stare at you, right?
Yeah. No, they smile though. That's better than just stare at.
Cash and Tyler recently teamed up and are accountability partners. They talked about it today on today's huddle. They hold each other accountable to lead gen and script practice. So that's good.
That's fantastic. Are you getting better at your scripts? Because there are certain scripts that you're sure is not a good script. Okay. But it'll happen if you don't have a script in place. I am not a Mike Ferry script guy. but they had a script that they used in closing people to use them as their coaching programs. And they said, you wouldn't be here if your scripts were already working. So why not use ours instead? And all that. We have some great scripts. Most of the time, the scripts are too long. My dumb opinion. I think they should be shorter. And if you knew that were true, would you even want to hear about it? See, that's a short script. I like that one better.
Yep.
Just, I'm a dumb guy. Okay. Plan for learning. We talked about that already. In your calendar, what's first? What's first? Play. Right. Playtime. Second, stuff you're going to learn, your education. And what's third? Work days. Okay. You should be working probably roughly 20 work days a month, unless you're at a week-long training or something like that. Then it's going to cut back on your days. But that's why you plan for 3 months off a year. Kind of fun. Okay, being learning based. We talked about that already. My recommendation is plan on it every February, family reunion. That's KW's national convention. You and 25,000 of your favorite KW agents will be in Anaheim this coming February. Plan for it now. Every time you have a closing, there's what we call a family reunion fund, and you can use it. You could use it for taxes. You can use it for, I call it a hidden savings account. It doesn't pay you any interest, but they say, hey, take 10% out of all of my closings novally and just set it aside. And so you can have that set up where it does that. Peter does that. I don't know if you knew that or not, but Peter sets aside at least 10%, and then he'll go to Novely and say, yeah, we're doing a family vacation. Can I have $30,000, please? It's not a bad idea, but he actually is able to pull out, X number of $1,000 so that he can go and do that. But also he has money set aside to go to family reunion. It's about $1,000 or so for tuition, for the 4-day conference. And then whatever your hotel, your food, and transportation costs are. And so it may be cheaper to fly, I don't know, to Anaheim than drive. I'm still waiting for the bus. We should plan on doing a bus. That would be a hoot, actually. That'd be fun. All right. But I would say do that. Mega Camp is more general session based, and it's really good. I would say your second or third year, that's when you want to start going to Mega Camp. But your every year, I think you should plan on family reunion. That one's really worth it. Reading that will not put you to sleep. My favorite book literally is The One Thing. What is the one thing that, if done, would make all other things unnecessary or unimportant or unnecessary? So what is the one thing you can do? The most important thing we can do as agents is to lead generate, because then we're lead generating for appointments, and then it takes us down the path to get to those big whys. But I love The One Thing. It's an easy read, but it just goes through some, really great principles. Anyway, and then there's courses, all that. I know that this one's coming, Quantum Leap. This is one of those I talked about. What is your personal mission statement and all of that? Quantum Leap will get you into that. Has very little to do with real estate, but it has a lot to do with you and who you are as a person and who you want to be. Again, big why, working on that. Quantum Leap is great. Johnny will actually be teaching that locally, so there's no cost to that. It used to be relatively expensive. Bold is an $800 boot camp. You guys have a great boot camp right here. I don't know that you need Bold yet, but it's coming in the fall. Yeah, I want to say late fall. Okay. And then there's some other trainings that are available. Plan for your learning, put that all in. Designing your future plan. And again, this is KW's mission. Careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Okay. That sounds really pie in the sky, doesn't it? They added these last two since I've been with KW. I've been with KW since 2008. But they added those because we talked about this already. It's all about relationships. And so it's having those experiences worth giving. That's what those relationships are about. We do stuff so that we work so that we can have experiences with people we love and want to be around. I heard a rumor about Riley.
Let's hear it.
What do you do every Wednesday? What's your Wednesday designated for?
Date night.
There you go. Why Wednesday?
Yeah, it's great. What's up?
Why Wednesday?
Honestly, middle of the week, which is great because then it's
Hump
like,
day.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's middle of the week and it's really easy to, I don't know, make time for, I guess. It's not originally, it was really hard to make time for because I'd always be busy, but now it makes me very efficient throughout the week. And yeah, it's good disconnect.
So, hey, can you come list my house Wednesday at 5:00? You'd say, no, I'm sorry, I have another appointment. How about Wednesday earlier afternoon or Thursday? You know, you have an appointment, you have a standing appointment, which is awesome.
Yeah, from 6 on, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. So,
yeah. Okay. Riley, will you read it since you have the mic?
Yeah, get real about your situation and get right about what you're doing. Bring a greater sense of clarity, priority, and focus to your work.
Okay. There's a lot of get real, get right, and clarity. Get real, get right, and have clarity. Know what you want. You know, super important. All right. This is what we talked about. I hope you guys had fun. I love this business. I want to share with you one last story, then I'm out of here because I think, yep, that's it. Daniel and Crystal were some referral clients a lender had sent to me. I think it's the one and only referral I've ever gotten from a lender. I've not been good about beating up my lenders and say, look, I'm sending business your way. I need you to reciprocate and send me some other business back. But anyway, great couple. Found them a house right across from the splash pad in Eagle Mountain in the ranches. And it was an okay house and wasn't bad. It was a struggle. We really fought to get through the loan process. I was a newer agent, and so I wasn't very good at it. But their transaction meant something to me because I remember we got to the settlement table. They signed all their docs. The next day it funded and recorded. Chris, the lender, called me and said, hey, it's all funded and recorded. Everything's good. Title confirmed it. And I called them up and said, hey, we should go meet at the house. I have to get you keys. And I remember driving out there, open up the key box because the agent still had his key box on the house. Sign was still there. And I pulled the key out and I looked at Daniel, handed the keys to Crystal, and Crystal burst into tears. And I looked at Daniel and I said, dude, I really didn't do it. I didn't say anything. And I was, and he said, Dean, you don't understand. He said, my grandparents, my parents, Crystal's grandparents and her parents, we all lived in the same trailer park in Northern California. We are the first in 3 generations to own a home. This means the world to us. I got back and into my car after, shaking their hands and giving her a hug. And I drove back and I got to pick up my commission check. And that was awesome. That was good. But man, it didn't make that same impression as that interaction. We really are in the business to bless lives. And if you will do that, you'll have those kinds of experiences. Those are stories you can share, stories you can tell others, that you can bless lives, you can make a difference in someone's life. Because the money will come, but it's changing lives and helping people have that kind of an experience, give them that, the warm fuzzies and all that. But I will never forget Daniel and Crystal. I love that. Anyway, I appreciate your being here today and your patience with me and telling all my dad jokes and stories. But thank you. I'll turn it over to you.
Let's give it up for Dean. I want to touch on 2 things he just said. There's 2 quotes that I'll share with you. The first is, if you want to make $1 million, you got to help 1 million people. So it goes back to that. If you want to really make a difference in your own life, you got to help people first. And then you're paid in relation to the problems you can solve. So, yep. Totally fine. Got you covered. Now you got to do me a favor. If you ever come here and mine's logged in, don't mess with me. Okay. Cool. I'm okay to leave this open, YouTube music. Cool. No sweat. Awesome. I appreciate you, Dean. Yep. Should be good. Let me get logged in here real quick, then we'll get started.